What's up, guys? This is Torii Hunter, former Minnesota Twin. I have Kirk Cousins, who's currently a Minnesota Viking, quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. And we have Joe Mauer, former Twin and Twins Hall-of-Famer, on this call. So I want to thank you guys for jumping on this conversation with me and all the Twins viewers. This is our virtual Twins Fest. But I want to get right to it. I know all three of us were quarterbacks in high school. I'm pretty sure I was the best one out of you three. But anyway, I want to know what kind of quarterbacks were you guys in high school? I know I was an option quarterback. I ran the ball whenever I had a chance, but I threw for some yards as well. What kind of quarterbacks were you and Joe? Kurt, you go first.
Yeah, I was a lightly recruited player, unlike Joe. I was kind of on the other end of the spectrum, just trying to get discovered. I played in a pretty pro-style high school offense, so we ran the ball, but I got to drop back and throw it a fair amount. And I wasn't very mobile. I kind of just tried to play from the pocket. So I've kind of been the same guy since my high school days, just on a different stage as I've moved on. But I'll let Joe tell it, but he lived a little different life in high school.
Well, I can definitely say, Torii, you were the best running quarterback out of the three. My style was a lot more like Kirk. I like to sit in the pocket and throw from there if I could. If I had to get out of the pocket, I didn't go too far. I wanted to get rid of the ball and give it to some playmakers. But, I enjoyed the sport. I enjoyed the position. And I like to throw it. I always fought with my coaches to try to put me in shotgun, but they never would do that.
You guys, did you ever have those pregame butterflies? And then when the game started, for me, when the game started, and I'm down, set, hey, right, and I'm running, and then I get hit hard, and then I'm like, wow, butterflies are gone, and I'm ready to go. I just wonder if you guys got those butterflies as well.
That's still every game for me. In football, I played, you guys were multi-sport athletes in high school. I played basketball and baseball as well. And I always felt like football was a different level of butterflies. I don't know if it's because it's so physical and combative or what it is, but maybe it's just the quarterback position. But baseball and basketball didn't give me the same butterflies that football always has. But like you said, you get hit one time and you kind of feel that and you're like, all right, we're here, we're good to go. And so I kind of want to know if you guys playing baseball those years, if the butterflies are the same as playing quarterback or if it's more laid back.
For me, there was always that kind of those butterflies. It was kind of the anxious to get the game going. As a quarterback, I always wanted to throw the first play, make a short pass, get the hand on the ball, get it out. And then go from there. But in baseball, it's kind of the same thing. That's why I enjoy being catcher, because the first pitch I was touching it, and throwing it back to the pitcher and going from there. But I think that's the thing. I think you always have to have a little bit of that those butterflies, like you said, going into a game. And I think that shows you how much you care about wanting to do well and for your team and for yourself.
Man, yeah. For me, man, in the postseason, I find myself getting those jitters, again, and during the season of my whole career, I could never find anything quite like the football game. Before a football game, I had those jitters. I get hit, I was good. Before a baseball game, it was just like a flow. But then I got to the playoffs, and we were playing against the Oakland A's in 2002. And I got those jitters again, and it felt so good. It felt like I was playing a football game, and that energy. It's kind of segue to my next question. I know all three of us, we all played multiple sports in high school. Joe, you played football, basketball, and baseball. You're the only player to be named USA Today High School Player of the Year in 2 sports. That's pretty impressive. What 2 sports? I know you were good at basketball. Was that one of them?
Basketball was not. But you know what? I enjoy playing them all. Football I enjoyed as well. I think the player of the year, I mean, that was a reflection of the guys I had around me as well. I had my running back, got to play on Sundays, went to University of Notre Dame, tight end. Basically, 3 guys on my high school football team all have a Super Bowl ring, or 2 guys do, Ryan Harris and Marcus Freeman. So I had weapons around me, and like I said, I tried to get the ball out and get it to them and let them do their thing. But I really enjoyed it myself. And same thing for baseball. Baseball, it's not an individual sport. You need other supporting players around you to be successful. And I was very fortunate to have a lot of good players and a lot of good coaches, along the way. So, and a lot of good mentors, just like yourself, Torii, to learn from. So I appreciate being on this call, because I always feel like you can always learn. Even when I'm done playing, you can learn from other successful people. So I appreciate everybody getting on this call today.
Well, you probably had a lot of Scottie Pippens around you, but you were the true Jordan. Kurt, you played football, basketball, and baseball, and you were a third baseman and a pitcher. Woo-wee! Man, you must have had a great arm. I seen you hit in 2017 or 18.
Yeah,
I think you came to Minnesota Twins baseball game, and you took batting practice with us, and that's how I really got a chance to know you. I thought you were an awesome athlete. The swing was beautiful. I'm like, man, you had to play some sports, play baseball. And I mean, third base, you're in the hot corner.
Yeah.
How did that feel? I don't know if you got to that next level or a college or seeing the pro ball players hit the balls to third base. How did that feel?
So there's a few thoughts I have about baseball. First of all, an interesting take is that I never threw a baseball as well as I throw a football. So for whatever reason, a football came off my hand and out of my arm much, much better. So my baseball, I probably topped out as a pitcher throwing in the low 80s. And I threw a football comparatively much harder. So I don't know why that is. Maybe my body type or my arms or my flexibility or lack thereof just wasn't designed to throw a baseball. But I had a strong enough arm to be a good high school player, but that was where it was going to end. So for whatever reason, I couldn't quite throw a baseball the same way. But yeah, baseball was my second sport. Basketball is my third sport. So much of the year I would still, when football season was over and I had basketball practice, I'd then go home, do homework, and then go back to the high school and hit in the cages to try to get ready for baseball season and still be fielding ground balls in the gym and that kind of a thing to be ready to go. So it made for a busy life in high school, but it was also a lot of fun. And you're right, third base is the hot corner. And even in high school, it was a hot corner. And those high school fields aren't manicured quite as well as
Nope.
major league fields are. So the bounces you get at third base can be pretty tricky too on those high school fields. So that made an interesting challenge. But I liked it. I liked kind of being there right there at third base in the action, and I had a lot of fun playing high school ball.
I have that's a good one, because I can kind of go into this next question. How did being a multiple player in high school, how did that help you develop in your skills? Just playing all these different sports, did it help you?
I think it helped me a lot to play multiple sports, and I noticed it even more when I went to Michigan State and obviously only played one sport. I was able to look back and see the difference that playing so many sports throughout the year made for me. First of all, it kept me from doing a repetitive pattern over and over and over. So I think it kind of kept me away from any specific injury from an overuse standpoint. And also just kind of helped me to develop all kinds of skill sets that I could then use later on in football. So I'm grateful I got to do it, but I went to a pretty small high school. So the competition to play third base and the competition to be the point guard wasn't quite as tough as it might be at a bigger high school. So I kind of lucked out from that standpoint. I bet if I went to a really big high school, I probably would have been the quarterback, and that would have been about it.
Joe?
Yeah, well, I think Kirk's absolutely right. I think the other sports helped me become a better baseball player, just overall a better athlete. You're put in a lot of different situations on a basketball court, on a football field, and then translating to baseball. And Torii, as well as anybody, that ball can do funny things and put you in different positions to go get it. And I think being that basketball player, being that football player with different footwork definitely helped me out. And same thing for me as a catcher. You don't know where that ball is going to go, and you just try to keep it in front of you and catch it and do the best you can. But I think I agree with Kirk too. It kept things fresh for me. It wasn't just one thing as a kid growing up trying to master. And I think I had during the summer, I had a good kind of plan. During the summer, it was baseball season, and that's what I focused on. And if I had extra time, I'd go throw a football or whatever. But I focused on that sport, and then it kind of chopped up the year and also gave me other things to be competitive at with my friends. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Torii, I got a question for you. As a dad, now looking, I have 2 young boys. I know you raised boys. What was that like as far as encouraging them to play certain sports, kind of trying to discover what they're naturally good at, and then how to kind of steer them in that direction? What was that journey like as an athlete yourself and trying to show your kids what it's like to be an athlete?
Man, it's crazy because I was trying my best not to force that. Me being an athlete and a dad, it was tough for me to kind of not force those things on them. But I knew I played multiple sports, and I wanted them to play multiple sports and learn different life lessons in each one. I thought football taught me how to be tough. I thought basketball taught me how to pass and be a team player. I thought baseball taught me about failure and bouncing back and making an adjustment in 30 minutes. So it just, different sports teaches you different things, and that's something that I wanted my sons to kind of take on. I wanted them to play multiple sports. I didn't want them to sit and just play baseball all year round or football all year round. We went to multiple sports just to learn different things, and I think that helped me along the way. I never forced it. I found myself sometimes like, man, you got to do this. This is how you work hard. But I learned when they got into junior high and high school, they watched me. They watched me get up at 5:30 in the morning to train, to work out in junior high, and they watched me eat right and do all these things. And then before you know it, in high school, my son's their junior year. It's like, can you get us a trainer? We want to get up and go to the trainer at 6 a.m. and then go to school at 7:30 for football practice, basketball, and baseball. I'm like, whoa, these kids are serious, but they watch everything us fathers do. They don't really go by what you say and force on them. They only go by what you do. And so I knew that they were watching when they got into high school. So if I could tell you, me being the experienced father on here, if I could tell you guys, they watch everything you do and less about what you say.
Yeah, that's really good.
A good point. That's a great point. I got to ask Torii, I got to ask this question because your kids are a little older than ours. So when did the driveway basketball game competition start? Dad's up here, and then, the sons start kind of challenging dad a little bit. How do you do that?
That's your whole life, Joe.
I know how competitive you are, and I'm sure the boys are just the same, but I just had to ask about that.
Hey, Kurt, I know you got Cooper and Turner. You have 2 boys as well. I can tell you guys, and you got Chip, Joe, and your twins. I know they're tough and very athletic as well. But I got to tell you guys, man, these guys never stop. Since they were young, they've been after me. They gang up on me. They're 27, 26, 25, and they still after me. And we can go back here and shoot on a basketball goal. They want to play horse, and they want to keep playing till they win. And I never let them win. They're amazed that I'm 45 and I still got game.
Yeah.
What do you think? Where do you think you got it from?
Right.
Sometimes you do smarter things, and I don't have to work harder. See, they still working hard. Now I play smarter. So yeah, it never stops in cards and video games. You go outside, they want to race you. Of course you're gonna beat me. You're like 20. I'm 70. I always say baseball is life, life is baseball, but I would have to say sports is life, and life is sports. We got a whole bunch of lessons that we've learned throughout our careers. And if you were talking to your kids or younger siblings, or even, just fans if you had a message and you summed it all up of your career, what would be some of the pros and cons that you would tell these kids?
Well, I know for me, I want my kids to learn through sports the way I did. And many times you're learning more from failure and adversity than you are from success. So while I want to see my kids be successful, I also do want to see them struggle and strive in what they're doing and to strain and to have it not come easy. I think that's a good, healthy thing. And I want to remind them the same way I was reminded so many times and still am to this day, that tough times don't last, but tough people do. And I think sports really hits that home more than other endeavors sometimes. And so I love the fact that my boys will be able to hopefully, get around athletics and get tested a little bit and be able to tell them, hey, tough times don't last, tough people do. And you got a decision to choose to be a tough person. And so I look forward to kind of journeying through that with them.
That's a great answer, Kirk. I think that's the thing. Sports can teach you so many things about life in itself. And, and I think that's the balance. There is a lot of failure in sports and in baseball in particular, but you want them to have some success, but also to learn from their failures. And I think sometimes we all can get lost a little bit that, sports can definitely teach some valuable life lessons, and we can learn from and be stronger and better people moving forward. So I'm looking forward to, this past fall, I was the girls' assistant soccer coach. So it was a lot of fun for me to kind of get there and to kind of introduce them to team sports and to introduce them to different challenges. And I look forward to that journey, moving forward as well. Well, Torii, I got to ask you about this because, obviously we learned so much and we've had our careers and now we're transitioning into other things. I want to bring up the topic of you and your businesses, because you've learned so many different things as an athlete, being around different people and players and coaches and obviously us having the opportunity to meet other successful people in other, in other sports or business. What are some of the things that you've learned to help you with your new businesses and how about managing people? Because I know that you own a couple different businesses. So I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
Man, it's amazing because I know you own business. I'm pretty sure Kirk does too. Man, it's amazing because sports has given me a chance to get in rooms with people that you rarely can get in rooms with. I'm able to have those conversations with people about how to start a business, what books to read, what courses I need to take to kind of advance the business, and also help me get through some of these wolves that are out here and having rough times, and learning from different things. But just being able to get in rooms with the people I've met and the relationships I've built because of the game of Major League Baseball. And just another thing is about team, right? I know I can't be the pitcher or the head guy all the time, the smartest guy in the room. Me, I get a shortstop, which is my CFO. I get a first baseman, which is, the guy that's the operator of the whole thing. And I get a marketing lady, and which would be my catcher. So you got to build teams around you. And I learned to do that because I'm just the center fielder. And if without my shortstop, left fielder, right fielder, and all those guys in those positions, I really can't do anything. And some people, want to portray themselves as, oh, I can do it all by myself. No, you cannot. In everything that you do, you have to have a team. Even Michael Jordan has Scottie Pippen. I say that all the time. So that's one thing I've learned. But also being in a clubhouse and learning leadership skills of getting to know each individual personally, what they can and can't do, their likes and dislikes, that actually helped me as well, and how to spark people. So you got to build that relationship first, and then you can go and push them in the way that they can receive it. And that's something that I've learned over the last 4 or 5 years as well in business. And I've had some rough times, I've had some losses, but at the same time, you try to minimize those and learn from them. And maybe they're expensive losses, but I promise you I've learned that expensive losses taught me a lot. That's something you can't really learn in school. So I'm excited about it.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's, I mean, you had so many good things there. I think one thing that sticks out to me is that, you listen, leaders listen, and understand that you can't do it all yourself, and delegating, and also too, putting people in good positions to succeed. I think that those are good things, and good things that I'm taking on into my career after baseball. But, I think one thing for me too is just, we've all worked really hard. We've all had success in our sports. And I think for me, going on further, is having patience and being able to listen, because somebody or people might not have the same type of drive that you might have towards certain things. And that's been a learning curve for me, in the last couple of years. But, there's a lot of great things. But like you said, having the opportunity to talk to other successful people in different business, sports, has really been beneficial and enlightening for me, because you can take different things from those leaders and apply it to what you're trying to do. And I'm so thankful that I had those opportunities. So even this opportunity right here, I mean, I'm looking at two other leaders from their teams and in different, aspects of life. And, I'm always picking up things and trying to better myself and my family as well.
Nice. Another thing that something to think about is Joe and Kurt. I always think about, like, I'm investing and also in businesses and running some business. I'm there a lot. And but when I look at people and they go home, after a long day's work, and you give them a check, and they got a chance to go have food, shelter, and clothing. They're using what you've created and helped create, and you're actually hiring, giving, creating jobs for people. And they go home and have food, shelter, and clothing because of something that you've created. And I'm thankful for it. I look at that perspective of it, and I shift my mindset, and not just making all the money. It's about how can you give back. God has blessed me to have a chance to go on to play Major League Baseball and make some money. But that's not all that we're called to do. And I think just creating jobs and people having food, shelter, and clothing is one of the most powerful charitable things you can do in this country or in the world.
Amen. I think it's important to be able to steward what you've been given. And as a professional athlete, there's a lot to steward at a young age. And those that can steward it well, it really does open up some great opportunities post-career that I think many of us don't even realize. And to empower other people, to empower those that work for you, is so intrinsically rewarding. And you're living it, and I look forward to living it when I'm done playing.
Nice. It's a lot of fun, man. It's definitely a blessing. It feels good when you can do something like that for people, and you just got to continue to grow and learn and accept failure, like we always do in our life right now. So, and that's one of the reasons why I love the sports, period, and not just the game of baseball, because all the lessons that you learn that you can apply to your everyday life, and that's what's exciting about it. This is definitely a great conversation, man. And man, I want to thank you guys for joining in and just sharing a little bit about what's going on in your lives, some of your thought patterns, your positive feedback. And I appreciate you guys for jumping on, man. You guys could be doing something totally different, but you choose to jump on and have a conversation for the virtual Twins Fest. So Kirk Cousins, Joe Mauer, two of the greatest people on earth. Thank you guys for jumping on, man.
Thanks for having us. Enjoyed the time. And to both you guys, thanks for the fun it was to watch you for so many years. Torii, you were a part of so many top 10 Sports Center highlights and web gems. And I went out in my backyard and tried to impersonate it. Never really could. And Joe, it's just unbelievable to think that you were the top national player at both sports, both positions. Just ridiculous. But It also says a lot about you and your athleticism and where you came from and the community that you grew up in and how they raised you. So thanks for who you guys are. Thanks for the example you set and what it looks like to be a great professional athlete on and off the field. Appreciate your time, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, fellas.
All right. See you guys.
All right.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks.